So next, we're going to move on to coronavirus. But first, I've got to mention this. I mentioned it Friday, but guess what? On Friday afternoon, we hit our latest goal. We hit 70,000 subscribers. And that is all because of you. I appreciate the support. We're moving. We're growing. So please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that bell. So we're making our push for 100K by Election Day. We can do it with your help. All right, so now we're going to talk about coronavirus. Remember that? Remember coronavirus? The lockdowns? The reason that 40 million people lost their jobs? That governments came out and said, you're non-essential. You have to close your business. You can't go to work. Remember that? Churches closing, businesses closing, restaurants closing. All of that stuff, there appears to be a cure. And it's called rioting and looting. And it's so important, so significant that health officials, healthcare advocates in Washington state have come out and endorsed the practice. And here's a report from CNN. A group of health and medical colleagues has penned an open letter to express their concern that protests around the United States could be shut down under the guise of coronavirus health concerns. The letter, which went on to draw more than 1,200 signatures, focuses on techniques to reduce harm to people protesting racial injustice. We created the letter in response to emerging narratives that seem to malign demonstrations as risky for the public health because of COVID-19, according to the letter writers, many of whom are part of the University of Washington's Division of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. What is that? This letter talks about emerging narratives that try to malign the health impact of these widespread protests that lead to rioting and looting. The whole idea of shutting down mass gatherings was not an emerging narrative. That was the ideas, that was the recommendations from healthcare experts. Social distancing, lockdown, wear masks, don't gather together in public. Remember that? The mayor of Chicago was saying if you went out running, jogging by yourself, we'll throw you in jail, we'll fine you because we can't go out at all. Now they're saying that, oh, if you bring that up because of riots, you're somehow getting involved in a narrative to bring down these protesters, and it's not really based on health, when the whole idea of not gathering was based on health, according to the healthcare experts. Here's more. Instead, we want to present a narrative that prioritizes opposition to racism as vital to the public health, including the epidemic response. We believe that the way forward is not to suppress protests in the name of public health, but to respond to protesters' demands in the name of public health, thereby addressing multiple public health crises. So, opposition to racism is now vital to the public health. Don't worry about quarantine. Don't worry about spreading coronavirus. Opposition to racism itself is vital to public health. It's absolutely insane what they're saying. And then they go into this nonsensical science that basically says that coronavirus can tell the difference between one mass gathering and another. One, coronavirus will infect people. The other, it's okay, because the public health concerns of protesting racial injustice are so vital, and apparently coronavirus knows the difference. It won't attack you. But if you want to gather in another way for another cause, that's bad. You can't do it. Here's more. However, as public health advocates, we do not condemn these gatherings as risky for COVID-19 transmission. We support them as vital to the national public health and to the threatened health specifically of Black people in the United States. We can show that support by facilitating safest protesting practices without detracting from demonstrators' ability to gather and demand change. This should not be confused with permissive stance on all gatherings, particularly protests against stay-at-home orders. It's absolutely insane. Look at this video. Look at this crowd. That is the largest gathering I've seen since coronavirus lockdowns. The very thing we were told not to do, they're doing it, and it's actually being endorsed by these health advocates, whatever that means. And look at this. Look how twisted this is. Here's a report from last week from KRON Channel 4 in the Bay Area, San Francisco, Oakland area, this county, talking about reopening. And look at the priorities.
Also, the business offices here in Contra Costa County are going to be allowed to reopen, outdoor museums as well. Now, libraries can reopen, but that's for curbside pickup services only.
So libraries are allowed to open, but only curbside. So that means you can't go in and check out a book, but if you have one, you can throw it at a police officer. Better yet, you can go burn down a library, because that's all well and good. Here's more from the report.
Also, that new order permits protests of up to 100 people that are in alignment with state guidelines.
Okay, so you can protest in groups of 100 people, but in the news report that accompanied that video, it said that other social gatherings are limited to 12 people. So, rioting, 100, other social gatherings, 12. What about getting together to pray?
Also, the next step is religious services will be able to resume June 15th out here in the county, but those are going to be with some restrictions.
This is just absolutely nuts. 100 people can get together to protest, leading to riots and looting, but no one can get together to pray. No one can go to church yet 100 people can get together to protest. It makes no sense. Let me know what you think in the comments. Where is this going to lead? I mean, what is the end game for the left here when they promote stuff like this? When they put priorities where you can't go to church, but you can go out and protest racial injustice or protest anything basically that's sanctioned by the left. It's just absolutely outrageous. All right, friends, I hope you enjoyed that quick hit, but before you go, there's more. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell so you'll be notified, then check out the full show that this quick hit came from, and when you're done with that, here's another video just for you. Hope you enjoy it. Have a great day.